Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Raiti from Raiti's Rise. We're back here at Crown Hyundai in St. Pete, Florida. And like I always like to do here on Raiti's Rides, we bring the different trims. And this video is no exception, especially from what is becoming that iconic South Korean auto manufacturer. It's this vehicle right here. This is the all-new redesigned 2026 Hyundai Palisade. This particular one is the SEL premium trim. But before we get into this electronic gray mid-size three-row crossover SUV, let's talk about what's going on here. So when you think about Hyundai and the Palisade's only been around for about 5 years. It is Hyundai's largest crossover SUV. Now, what's fascinating is in this mid-size SUV segment, you have to bring your A game plus because of all the hot competition. Now, for 2026, it is a total redesign. And when it comes to the different trims, the SEL, especially this SEL Premium, is all about bringing tons of value. Yes, you could go calligraphy and get all the bells and whistles, but of course that comes at a certain price point. So what I want to find out is, if you're looking for a new mid-size three-row crossover SUV, do you go with this value leader as that must-own SUV for 2026 model year? Let's go ahead, let's dive into ours and see if we can find out. Right off the bat, you'll notice a new face to the Palisade. It's actually a little bit longer, and the wheelbase, which is the space in between the front wheels and the rear wheels when you look at the vehicle from the side, is also a little bit longer as well. What does that do for you? It gives you more interior space. Now, as we come across the front, very interesting on this modern design. You're gonna have this stacked system of LED daytime running lamps, but they're also your turn signals. And I have to admit, I don't think I've ever seen hazard lights, because obviously we have the hazards on, that take up so much space and are so bright. Let me know if you're liking that style. Now, what's kind of cool is hidden within these windows, you'll notice the LED headlights. Everything else is blacked out. But there's the headlights down below and up top. And then coming down, you'll notice that electronic gray. It's got a nice metal flake to it, a little bit of aluminum trim, and then this satin metallic gray finish on the bottom. Of course, depending on trims is going to depend on certain appointments on the exterior, but try to keep things in check with this review because, like I said, this is the mid-grade SEL. Now, as we come across the front, that fortified grille on the new Palisade, you have some shiny metalwork across the top and throughout. That's all horizontal. I like the way they brought that horizontal daytime running lamp into the grille. And obviously, compared to the previous gen, the grille did get a little bit larger, but I feel like it's cleaner on the design philosophy here, but it's fully functional. Working our way down, you do have your aluminum style trim, and then we have a bunch of flat black with that satin gray. Now, if you'll notice these two rectangular areas, these are doors that are going to open and close when you drive the vehicle to bring more cool air to all the heat exchangers. But let me know what you think about the face of this Palisade, especially being an SEL Premium. Now, as we rise up, notice how they have the front fascia above the grille stays in place. Where the hood opens is a little bit inward past that flush mounted Hyundai badge. Very interesting what they did. Look at how crisp and pronounced the indentation is, that U-shaped indentation on the hood. And I like the way the hood, for the most part, has a nice flat, broad appearance to it. I feel like that kind of balances with what the roundedness is going on the front. Now, as we come around the bend, when we're talking wheels and tires, there's going to be some big changes depending on what trim you go with. So on the SEL Premium, you're going to get these all new wheels, machined aluminum with that Hyundai badge in the center cap, and then some metallic gray finish all the way around. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, what's the size of this wheel? 18-inch wheel. Tires are going to be 235 on the width, 65 series sidewall. Of course, if you go full calligraphy, you get 21-inch wheels. But let me know what you think about the 18s. I think the style is fine, and do you really need 21-inch wheels? I know a lot of people always fear about curbing the wheel. This, you got a little bit more meat to protect that wheel, because like I said, 65 series sidewall on the tires, and then on the SEL, it is flat black. I'm okay with that because of this being a value price leader. Now, on the corners, look at how they really did the design with that aluminum style trim, brought it into the lower corner, and how the body color intersects with that trim. Now, as we come down the side, SEL is gonna get painted mirror caps, body color. Notice how they sculpted the mirror housing with the LED turn signals on both sides, both the front and the back side. You have your A-pillar gloss black, and then that aluminum style trim separates the roof from the rest of the vehicle. I kind of like the way the trim is just along the top. We have raised aluminum roof rails. You can get your cross bars in the accessory catalog, and then of course electronic gray on the door handles. A little bit of flat black, and then a little bit more of that aluminum trim. I actually like the aluminum style trim because I feel like it gives it some nice quality feel to it, better than gloss black. It is definitely gonna wear better over time. Now, your standard Palisades front wheel drive, or you could also get all wheel drive as well. Coming towards the rear, flat black, no gloss black. I kind of like the way they did that. And then you're gonna have this large, almost like a sail off a sailboat, of that aluminum style trim coming into your rear quarter panel. Notice how they did the indentations around the fenders. I really feel like it gives it a nice muscular look without being too tough. And this part right here, like if Lori comes around and shows you just this almost reminds me of a Range Rover Sport, believe it or not. This area, the way they kind of flare it out and then taper it in. You'll notice how they did that stacked lighting system, all LED. And then from the back side, they finally listened to me on the Palisade. You have this really beefy long roof spoiler with the wiper tucked underneath. It's all nice and hidden. See how clean that is? Got your Hyundai badge. They spell out Palisade in case you failed spelling back in middle school. And then working our way down the ground level, just a clean lower bumper area. Flat black with your reverse lights, the DOT required reflectors. And I like the way none of the bumper protrudes past the rear lift gate. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood and see what the heck is powering this new Palisade. All right, guys, we got the hood popped. You do have hood struts. Underneath the hood, you're gonna have one of two engine options, and all of them are new. This particular one is the naturally aspirated V6. There's also gonna be a hybrid option as well. But what do we have? It's a 3.5 liter V6. If you remember, the previous generation was a 3.8 liter V6. It puts out 287 horsepower, 260 pound-feet of torque. It is mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission with a 2-chamber torque converter to help smooth out the shifts. 0 to 60 in about 6.4 seconds. MPGs, 19 in the city, 25 on the highway, and this Palisade tows 5,000 pounds. Now, if you were wondering about the length, it's actually 2.5 inches longer than the previous generation Palisade. Nice to see that they actually put an engine cover. A lot of brands are getting rid of engine covers. I know I haven't been the biggest fan of engine covers, but it does clean up the engine compartment for the most part. And then another nice thing is that you get your choice between naturally aspirated V6, which it is, like I said, a new V6 for 2026, and you could also get, or I should say, or you could also get a hybrid. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire up this V6 Palisade and hear what it sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside this 2026 Hyundai Palisade SEL. Convenience, it is that premium level of the SEL trim. And like I told you at the start of this review, we love bringing the different trims because, yes, we already know calligraphy has everything, but what does this trim have, especially for the price? Now, I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, with the way prices are going, this thing has got to be over $50,000. No, it actually isn't. MSRP for this SEL convenience, that premium level of the SEL trim, you are looking at an MSRP of $45,000. Let's see, before you get excited about the price, let's see what you get with this new redesigned Palisade. To the door panels, love the clean style. You have soft touch material, some stitching up top. You have that Pac-Man shape kind of door handle there, nice silver trim on it. No gloss black around the switchgear, more stitching, and then a door pocket that's decent. You'll probably be able to get 4 chili dogs from Checkers, a Checkers fry, and Lori's favorite, a nice large strawberry milkshake. Now, going from the door panel to the dash, I'm digging what they did. They actually pushed it forward to give the passenger even more room. Soft touch. You even have some of this trim that almost looks like wood, but I'm glad it's not all shiny and glossy. They did a very creative, artistic style to the AC vents. And then, of course, you have your Hyundai trademarked Twinkie tray, baker's dozen of Twinkies for the passenger. Now slide on in, you're gonna get that 12.3-inch infotainment system connected with our 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. Now, the good news is it's the same great system that you've seen in Hyundai vehicles from before. The bad news is it's not redesigned for 2026. So let me know if you are happy with having the same system, all the usual different apps and everything, but let me know if you're happy with the way it is or if you think they should have changed something. Let me throw it into reverse. Backup camera freaking clear as day. You can count how many cracks are on the freaking drive here, and don't step on a crack or you're gonna break your mama's back. It's that simple. And then right back where we started. Real volume knob, real buttons to access even things on the infotainment system. You got your different drive modes. I like this selector. This is a kind of nice little clickety-clack-clack selector for your modes. Down below, you do have dual climate on the SEL convenience. Plus, you have 3 stages of heated seats, no ventilated seats. But we can't zonk it because we're talking about value. You have your electric column shifter. It actually has the engine start-stop button built into it, and then you just twist. You just twist to go into gear. Now, down below, there's plenty of room for your gear. We have the Hyundai Bible. This is your official Hyundai Bible. It tells the whole story of Hyundai and how here in the United States, back in the 80s, they came out with the Hyundai Excel, just 2 different versions of it, hatchback and sedan, and now they got a lineup that's still freaking out all the other auto manufacturers with what they've been able to accomplish. You have a 12 volt, and you have a little area where you could put your 7-Eleven hot dog, but then you could put your merce, your purse, your sack, your satchel, your hat, your crossbody bag, your fanny pack, whatever type of sack you have, you could put it down there. And then I'm gonna put the Hyundai Bible back because I don't want to be responsible if that gets lost. Now up top, they did an interesting thing here with the center console. First of all, it doesn't extend all the way to the dash. That's nice to free up space. The other thing is they kind of carved this out like a watermelon to give you that easy access. You get 3 USB-Cs with that faux wood trim. You have your wireless charging, 2 cup holders. Of course, you got to have the alien suppository key fob. Still not loving those key fobs. Not loving it. Aliens love it because this is how they probe you, but I'm not digging this key fob. Soft touch. Boop, boop. Open it up. You could put easily at least 1 Long John Silver's tackle box. Get yourself some tartar sauce, some cocktail sauce for the hush puppies. And then you have this soft material on the seats. They actually call this K-Tex, which is like a faux leather. So it's not actual leather. They call it K-Tex. you got to go up to calligraphy and whatnot to get the actual leather. But I love the way they're getting creative with the design, all the perforations, nice softness, electric assist on the passenger, electric assist on the driver. I'm not in love with light headliners, but I'm not going to zonk it in here. It works with the gray exterior, and you get a standard size sunroof on the SEL. But why don't you get your butt over here? I want to show you behind the new wheel in this new Palisade. All right, guys, business time behind the wheel. You have your easy access for the switchgear, lower lumbar, very nice. Seats, they redesigned them, and they redesigned the cushion for the push-in. And I'm telling you right now, the way I'm pushing my body on this cushion, it actually feels pretty good. I'm 6 feet tall, plenty of room in here. Nice leather wrap steering wheel with your stitching. Still not digging the horn button. The way that they don't put the Hyundai badge anymore and they put Morse code for H just seems like they're trying to cut corners there. I do like the silver trim, flat black on the switchgear, paddles to go up and down that 8-speed automatic. And it is a manual tilting and telescoping wheel. And then of course we have that 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. You can scroll through different information in the center, which is nice. Plus, like I told you, you have your different modes. My Drive, which is your preferences. Sport is when you're feeling a little racy. Love the nice gauges though. Normal, and then of course Eco. If you want to hug a tree, it's better to just go in Eco mode than to hug like a pine tree or say a palm tree with some major pain to it. But nice to have all of that set up, easily visible through the steering wheel. No head-up display on this trim. But why don't we go ahead, let's get into the mid-row and the third row and see what the new Palisade SEL Convenience Premium is bringing to the table. All right, guys, mid-row time in this new Palisade. Of course, they did a great job on the style of the seats. Just like up front, you do have that captain's chair armrest. It's a little bit wider. It's a little bit wider, so I'll just give them half a zonk. They need to take a page and like look at the Ford Explorer. The Ford Explorer has a proper armrest. But we'll flip that up out of the way. You do have pockets on the back. You could put a couple books back here, maybe some Mad Libs, maybe even like a travel board game. Just don't do Monopoly, because that's the game of the devil. It breaks up friendships, marriages, and whole families. Still love the way they put the USB-Cs up top on the back of the seats. A little bland back here. I'm curious what this looks like on a higher trim, but we're not going to zonk it because we're talking about value. Pull this. Ooh, look at this, like a little storage area in here. This is where you could put like maybe your Game Boy and some game cartridges in here so that you have them on your next trip. Just make sure you have Excitebike, Tetris. Those are some of the best ones. Up top, you have your easy access AC controls, temperature, blower fan, and your AC vents are located in the headliner. Love the fact that even on this SEL Convenience Premium, you have the nice manual sunshades. And then the seats, they do slide. Wow, look at that. Look how far they recline back. I almost feel like I'm in a dentist's office. I can hear the drill right now, drilling out my teeth. Now we're gonna do this all in one shot because I like to live life dangerously. Lori's gonna show you on the top of the seat here is where you have your easy access button. Hit this, hit it, don't quit it, and that moves the seat out of the way. And then now we're gonna slide and shimmy into the third row. And what's surprising is, first of all, these seats are actually comfortable. There's a lot of cushion for the pushing. That's something new for 2026. They're really focused on that cushion for the pushing. USB-Cs on both sides, cup holders. So there's your USB-Cs, they illuminate. So in case you're in the dark, you don't have to figure out what you're sticking things into. And then of course, because this is a mid-size crossover, my knees are a little bit high, but I feel like the seat is kind of compensating for that because it's so nice and soft. Plenty of freaking headroom back here. So it's actually not too shabby. And of course we have AC vents for the third row. But let's get that cargo area because I can't wait to take this new Palisade for a little spin. All right guys, cargo area time. You're gonna hit the button. That's the old school way. Rises up, nice electric assist on the SEL. You'll notice we have the third row up how much room you have. Now, if you're wondering, well, Joe, how much room is there? Because I need numbers. You're looking at almost 20 cubic feet of space with the third row up. Fold the third row down is going to give you 46.3 cubic feet of space. Now, before I fold down the third row, underneath here, you got a little bit of storage. You can put some boxes of some Star Crunch, some Nutter Butters. I remember back when I was in high school, my coaches in PE class would have a shopping cart that obviously they stole from a grocery store, and they would fill them up with Hostess and Little Debbie treats and then sell them for 50 cents a piece so that they could buy themselves a big screen TV to watch football film on. Interesting. Now on the driver's side, you do have a 12 volt, which comes in handy when you're at the beach, tailgating, or at a picnic site. And then you'll notice to put the seats down, it's a 60-40 split. I like the way it's easy. So headrest is up, put the headrest, you just pull, and that's it. That's all we need. Anybody else that makes it that more complicated is an idiot, in my book. Another nice thing that they did, look, we have buttons here to fold down the mid-row. Look at how that folds down. Nice. Lori can't believe it right now. And third row has those USB-Cs that I was trying to point out to you. So nice to have the connectivity for everybody. Even those who suck it up and take one for the team and sit in the third row. But why don't we go ahead? It's your turn to take one for the team. You hop in shotgun. We're gonna go on throttle and see how this new Palisade handles the road. All right, guys, we left Crown Hyundai. We're inside this 2026 Hyundai Palisade, this being the SEL convenience trim. Right away, you're gonna love the new interior. I mean, the way the dash is nice and far and forward really frees up the space in here. Visibility of the instrumentation and access to that 12.3-inch infotainment system is perfect within reach. And then the seats, they really up their game on how comfortable they are. Now, I do have it in sport mode, and remember, each of the modes is going to adjust steering sensitivity, throttle sensitivity, and how the engine and the transmission behave with one another. But incredible how nice and comfortable the ride is. Now, something that's helping that, believe it or not, are the smaller wheels and tires. The tires with that 60 series sidewall has a lot more give, which actually helps with the comfort of the ride. Love that big broad hood that I was showing you on the exterior. And just, it's one of those SUVs that you think it's gonna be difficult to control, but it really isn't. It's nice to know where your body points are, the front end, the rear of the vehicle very easily. Of course, you're gonna get all of the Hyundai safety features, blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist, all those goodies. But it is a larger SUV, but it's not super difficult to drive. Now, shut off that pesky auto start stop feature. And then, like I was showing you before, you could change the information that is in the digital gauge cluster very, very easily to give you a cornucopia of information. And this vehicle literally just came off the truck a few hours ago. We had to take all the film, all the shipping film off of it to get it ready for the video. So this thing is as fresh as they come. Nice to have a thick rim steering wheel. Doesn't feel puny while you're driving. And then, like I said, the space, the room for all three rows is really, really spectacular. But we're gonna go on throttle here in a second to see how this goes. On throttle, here we go. So 8-speed shifts, downshifts very nicely. I'm noticing that the shifts are a little bit smoother, which is good. Nobody behind us right now. Are you ready? Sport mode, on throttle. Smooth shifts. So definitely an improvement in the driving experience, because remember, we have that new 3.5 liter V6 replacing the 3.8 liter V6, and we have that upgraded 8-speed automatic. But going over the bumps and everything in here, look at that, it's rock solid, very quiet in here. Not a lot of road noise, not a lot of wind noise. And the handling is very, very dynamic and smooth. But man, it's quiet in here. Can't believe it, especially for an SEL trim. You would think that an SEL trim would be louder because it's not as high of a trim as, say, the Limited or the Palisade. But I love the easy access AC controls. Very easy to drive, very comfortable. On throttle, here we go. Go ahead and change the mode. Like the way they have that. You can go right back into normal mode. Softens up the steering. Throttle sensitivity. And I love the dash, the graphics, the colors. The only thing that doesn't have, of course, is going to be the wonderful blind spot camera system, because we don't have 360-degree cameras in an SEL convenience trim. But other than that, it really comes with a ton of features and amenities. But man, I can't get over how quiet it is on the interior. It is fantastic. They did a heck of a good job. Very, very impressed. Visibility is great. The A-pillars are pulled very far apart. But very, very smooth and controlled. Look at that. Really, really digging this new Palisade. I'm still on the fence about the headlight design, but it's definitely going to get attention, especially if you are one of the ones in the beginning that plop your money down for one of these. But man, really, really well done by Hyundai. Have to give credit when credit's due here, especially for the price, 45 grand. But really, just like I said, everything is exactly where you think you'd want to have it. Plus you got that 3-row flexibility where the 3rd row is even more usable than it was on the previous generation, because we got a little bit more length. But I'm hoping that this has been a good, quick overall review of the SEL convenience. We're gonna get back to Crown Hyundai and wrap this one up. So I will see you in a split second. All right, guys, another great day in so many ways here at Crown Hyundai. Definitely got to thank Casey and the rest of the team getting us access to one of their very first SEL premium trims for the new Palisade. Now let me know what you think. When we talk about value and a mid-size 3-row SUV, is this the must-own when it comes to those new models? Let me know in the comment section. But if you're new to the channel, you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Raised Rights family. We gotta thank Latte Lori, because she's not only working the camera, but she's making cold brews today because it is hot as Satan's bathtub. So thank you, Lori, for all that you do. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.